Why the honeybee sting is fatal, according to Greek mythology. In a time before human beings existed, in an age of spirits, mythological beasts, and eternal beings, Zeus, king of the gods, was deliberating with his soon-to-be wife Hera, god of marriage and childbirth, about how to make their wedding the most marvelous affair ever. They had already chosen the most luscious location, the Garden of Hesperides, and they had invited every being of merit they could think of, from radiant river spirits to towering titans, and of course the whole pantheon of Olympus. He issued out a challenge to all the beings coming to the wedding, that whoever could devise the most interesting and original wedding dish would be granted the opportunity to ask him any favor they pleased. Every immortal being prepared a dish for the wedding, eager to earn a favor from the king of the gods. Zeus and Hera were presented every complement of taste imaginable: salty, sweet, bitter, sour, savory, gross, and great. While making their way through the mountain of food creations, Zeus came across a small cup filled to the top with an amber-colored, sticky, sweet-smelling goo. The sticky goo was something the gods had never tasted before. It was gloopy without being ungent, slow-moving without being stodgy, sweet without being cloying, and perfumed with a flavor that drove the senses wild. When Hera tasted the sweet-smelling goo, the scent of the loveliest meadows and mountain herbs danced along her taste buds. Zeus asked what was this food called and who created this delectable dish. Melissa, a nymph whose name means honeybee, and the creator of this delightful treat, told the gods it was called honey. Zeus instantly then stated there was no need to try any of the other dishes, as none of them would compare to this honey, and declared Melissa the winner of the competition. Melissa was very small, and as she flew up to the winner's podium, she looked even smaller next to Zeus's face. Now was Melissa's chance to request a favor from the king of the gods. She buzzed her story to the god, in which she explained how difficult it was to collect nectar deep from within the flower, and that only a tiny amount of nectar could be sucked up at any one time, and that the flowers were such long distances from each other that she spent most of her time buzzing from one to the other before returning home to deposit the nectar. And other animals in the woods steal my honey when I'm away. I can only make small amounts of honey each day, and it is stolen the next. She buzzed that little cup had taken her 4.5 weeks to produce. The queen of bees' favor was to ask for a weapon she could use against others, something like the scorpion's deadly sting or the snake's venomous bite. She asked that her weapon would be fatal to anyone she chose to use it against. But Zeus did not like her proposal. He was furious that this little insect had asked him such a thing. He declared that her honey should be shared for everyone to try, and that she was being utterly selfish in her attempt to monopolize this sweet, delicious food. In Zeus's final response on the matter, he declared that she will be a queen of a colony of workers that will aid her in gathering honey. In addition to her swarm of workers, she will also be granted a fatal sting, but this sting would be fatal to her or her colony if they ever used it on another. It was from then on that the honeybee's sting was barbed, meaning that if their weapon was ever to be used on anyone, that the individual that used that sting would not survive the attack.